I recently attended Dr. Chanequa Walker-Barnes' lecture, Healing the Wounds of Cultural Trauma. And as you see right here in this 4 block, you'll see conformity, egoethnocentric, selective sight, and trust in the system. You know, as colonized indigenous people, we have no choice. We're in a system that we unfortunately cannot opt out. You know, we can't say, we rather opt out and just be our authentic indigenous self. So we conform. We conform by being assimilated. We conform by just trying to be and look as standardized and basic as ever. We comply with standards, rules, regulations, violations, and all other legal aspects that control mainly majority of our lifetime here in a colonized society. So Egoethnocentric is when something is self-centered, whether a person or a corp, and they judge other cultures to the standard of one's own, which I think plays a huge part in selective sight, not calling out racism when it's passively or aggressively in your face. Which leads to trust in a system. How do you trust in a system that historically has showed you untrustworthiness? So I caught a couple of clips of the lecture. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you think of this, and I hope it helps. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you like.
I think that we need to focus on the bigger issue at hand, as opposed to trying to fight how people are trying to cope with a system that's unjust.
I agree. We definitely need to focus on the bigger picture, and that is that egoethnocentrism is really overwhelmingly in power. You know, despite of who it is, people unfortunately are being treated inferior or subordinate like everywhere, especially in the workplace. If we got our mental health back intact, I think this would help.
Doctrine of discovery that basically said anything that the explorers saw, they could name it. Like they could grab it in the name of the church that made it theirs. Right? That was what enabled imperialism, right? And so the church's hands are all over this.
The doctrine of discovery said anything that explorers saw, they can name it. And that was enabled by the church. That is the foundation of imperialism. Weapons and the Bible played a huge role in the mental that turned into a physical captivity for people. The church name is all over it. The reason we know of the church and the Bible is because it was brought to us.
And it's also to remember blackness, like all these identities, are made up. On the slave ship, people who had been enemies were forced to become one people.
Black is a made-up identity. If you look at the definition of black, it means of the very darkest color owing to the absence or complete absorption of light, the opposite of white, deeply stained with dirt. Related to black people, of any human group having dark colored skin, full of anger or hatred, very evil or wicked. As they say, the brain is very sensitive. If you say it long enough, you will start to believe it and become that.
It's not a matter of can there are cases across the world where people have been talking about reparations and how you undo legacies of harm. But do we want to look at that stuff? Do we want to say, what would that look like here? Right? Do we want our classrooms to be more equitable? It really is just a matter of will, because once we decide we want to do it, the resources are there.
Undoing legacies of harm is and will be a global epidemic, because globally all indigenous people have been dealing with generational legacies of harm. But we recognize it. Learn to recognize when and how whites' cultural patterns are to play in the concerns of individuals. We need to name it, normalizing and name whiteness. a lot of times this is what we deal with in the workforce. These are some of the references, like the books The Hidden Wound, White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for Whites to Talk About Racism, Restoring Wounded Souls, Waking Up White, Moral Injury, Good White People, The Problem with Middle Class White Anti-Racism, and Dr. Chanequa Walker-Barnes' own I Bring the Voices of My People. I don't know where the resources are because it's not like I said in the beginning, it's not like we can opt out. But with mental clarity and mental stability and knowing who we are, what role we play, how we truly coexist as melanated people in this world, that's the first resource. Also, take a moment to look at the words in these 4 blocks. Do they pertain to your life, whether in your workplace or outside of it? If so, note it down, jot it down, and talk about it.